Hello and welcome to another insightful session of Parenting Summit 2024. Today we are honored to have with us Mrs. Anupama Ramachandra, an accomplished principal of Delhi Public School, Electronic City, Bangalore, Karnataka. With a wealth of experience in education and an unwavering dedication to students' well-being, Mrs. Ramachandra has been a guiding light for parents and educators, navigating the complexity of adolescent development. Our topic for today is mindful parenting techniques, how to stay calm and present during teen conflict. Parenting teens can be a challenging, especially when emotions run high during conflicts. Mindful parenting offers a pathway to handle these situations with grace and understanding, creating a positive environment for both parents and teens. Mrs. Ramachandran will share her insights on how can we embrace mindfulness to build stronger, more supportive relationship with our team. Welcome, ma'am, to Parenting Summit.
Thank you, Mr. Shaju. It is a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, before we start, I would request if you can briefly introduce yourself for our listeners who would like to know more about you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
My introduction can either be 1 minute long or 1 hour long. I have done a lot of things in my course of journey, but I'm proudest that I'm an educator uh,
Okay.
because of the nature of my husband's job. We had to travel across the country,
Mhm.
and that made me, pick up jobs as I found them, which I did not realize, but it was a blessing in disguise. So, in the course of my educational journey, I have taught from kindergarten to post graduation.
Wow.
And yes, so,
The complete spectrum.
yes, so I know what I'm talking about, or, when people come to discuss with me about different sections, I know where they're coming from.
Mhm.
That is one thing. And second thing is, of course, that I've always been a teacher of English,
Mhm.
that being my subject. I've done my post graduation in both English and also education. So
Mhm.
I have been an educational administrator now for close to 10 years
Mhm.
at DPS Electronic City, but I worked in other schools across the country. And I had this very rare privilege and opportunity to even teach in the United States of America, because I was selected as a Fulbright, participant.
Mhm.
So I went to California, and that actually changed my perspective about education and being an educator. So
Mhm.
I kind of re-evolved again, I would say, unlearned a lot of things, relearned a lot of things. And here I am. And also into a little bit of community service, because I'm into the Rotary Club, and I was the president of the club last year. So
Wow.
I'm trying to balance a lot of things, and
Mhm.
it's been great going till now.
Ma'am, it's an honor to have you on our summit. So, ma'am, let's start with understanding mindful parenting. So,
Yes.
what what is mindful parenting in the first place, and why is it particularly important during the teenage years?
Right. Yeah. So that's just a wonderful question that would set a beautiful foundation to our conversation today. Becoming parents in India is, considered to be a very organic process.
Mhm.
People get married, and then you're expected to have children. Very little goes into actually preparing one to be a parent,
Mhm.
and very little thought goes into whether we want to have kids, and whether we have the resources to raise them. When I say resources, we always think of money. Yes, that is
Mhm.
one of them. But that is the least of things that we have to be concerned about when we are raising children. So I think mindful parenting, as far as I'm concerned, means that, are you ready to be parents? Do you
Mhm.
know what it takes to raise healthy children?
Mhm.
Do you even have the time and the inclination to be parents to your children? So
Mhm.
I think it is to apply thought and
Mhm.
to be involved in every aspect of your child growing up, going to school, developing a hobby,
Mhm.
your child doing their homework at home, or
Mhm.
when they're playing with their friends, are you around to see how they are being treated and how they are treating others?
Mhm.
When they're around their relatives and elders, are you kind of keeping an eye on the kind of values the child is picking up? So
Very
it's
important.
yeah, so it's about being a hands-on parent,
Mhm.
and also being equipped with a lot of information about what parenting is, and what are the changes you're going to see in your child physiologically, emotionally, socially. So I think mindful parenting is the only way of parenting that one should adopt.
It is an important aspect, right, ma'am?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Right. So, ma'am, what are some common triggers for parenting conflicts, and how can mindfulness help parents navigate the situation more effectively?
Yeah. So since we are talking about the teenage years, we should be very conscious of the fact that as children become teenagers, there are a lot of changes that happen in them. To
Right.
start off with, a lot of physiological changes happen in them, and there are a lot of hormonal changes also that happen, and it just comes as a flush once they
Mhm.
approach adolescence. So many parents see a few red flags which they hadn't seen in their child, like their child begins to argue, or maybe they start demanding things. Sometimes, unprecedented use of offensive language,
Mhm.
and requests are just put down. Like when the parent says, "Can you clean up your room?" They'll say, "No, I'm not going to do that." So and they kind of seem uninterested in the conversations or things that are happening in the household. So these are the
Mhm.
red flags that people should take it as a conflict, not wait for something really big to happen. And I think that I don't know if this is a consolation to parents who are raising kids and who are teenagers, but this
Mhm.
is something very natural.
Okay.
It is not something that's happening only in your house, and it's not something that's happening only with you and your child. This
Mhm.
happens with most of the children. Some of them are equipped to handle it. Some
Mhm.
of them take a very short time to handle this. Some of them take a longer time. But this is something that happens with everyone. And conflicts, it is an indication that the relationship is alive. If there are no
Right.
conflicts, that means the relationship is dead. There's nothing
More
left.
of mechanical. Yes.
Yes, yes. So I think conflicts is healthy if we know
Mhm.
how to resolve them and how to take them up.
Mhm.
And the whole dynamics of relationships is that we do have misunderstandings, we have disagreements, and we don't say yes to everything about each other's perspective. But I
Mhm.
think the conversation should be that how do you exactly handle these conflicts?
Okay, great, great. So first, very important point which you mentioned is like you're not alone. It's happening with everyone.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
so don't think that this is the why is it happening with me or with us to start with. It is a natural
yes,
process. It is
yes.
everybody is going through it, and the better prepared you are, it'll be easier for you to handle. Right, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
So that's very important, right? So, ma'am, at what stage should parents start incorporating mindful techniques, and how can they identify areas, it's most needed type?
Yeah. So I think mindful parenting should start even before the child is born.
Okay.
Yes, when the child is in the womb,
Mm-hmm.
what should the mother be doing? How should the mother be treated? How should the
Mm-hmm.
family environment be? Are everyone in the family prepared to welcome the baby? So I think
Mm-hmm.
mindful parenting should start right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to get accelerated when children become teenagers. Because that is when we see, and it's not my opinion. There is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of research that shows that children are most rebellious when they are teenagers.
Right.
Yeah. So parents just wonder, where did we go wrong? uh,
Mm-hmm.
they were all right till about last year, and now, and they tried like to blame it on the company they keep, or
Mm-hmm.
they're using gadgets or social media or whatever it is. Yes, they
Mm-hmm.
do influence the way a child thinks and behaves, but
Mm-hmm.
that cannot be the only reason why a child is behaving when they turn teenagers.
Right.
So, and we should also accept the fact that when children become teenagers, they are often questioned. They're actually trying to establish their position in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
they're often questioned about many things.
Right.
So that is when we feel that we should bring in mindful strategies. But in my opinion, mindful parenting should start, because when you're laying the foundation itself, if
Mm-hmm.
you're mindful, that will just continue, and there are many children who go through teenage without any whatever I spoke about. They just go through it because they are cushioned with the fact, with an assurance from the parents that I know you're going through some changes, and I understand why you are not willing to clean your room today. We
Mm-hmm.
understand why you don't want to sit with us and have dinner. So, if that understanding and that acceptance is there from the parent, and that unconditional love that comes from parents, I think
Mm-hmm.
that plays a big role in children handling the changes, and they're not aware of it. In many households, in many schools, we do not speak to children about what they can expect out of teenage.
Mm-hmm.
Girls are a little, lucky, I would say, because when they attain puberty, they are taken care of, they are pampered, and they are spoken
Mm-hmm.
to by elders in the family.
Right.
But with the boys, it's not so. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
speaks to them. They don't even realize that they do attain puberty too. So I
Right.
think that these conversations that we keep having with children, as
Mm-hmm.
parents, as caregivers, as responsible adults,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is an important or a critical part of mindful parenting.
Right, man. This is very important point. Boys or male children, they don't get that kind of guidance or support because it's been taken for granted, like, or it's not felt that important to have a discussion and tell them, because they are also experiencing for the first time,
Yes,
and they get into a lot of wrong things if they are not guided properly, because now the time is like the information is bombarded from everywhere. They have
yes,
access to all kinds of information as far as they have the access to a mobile or a laptop. So
yes,
guiding them, having a discussion with them, trying to make them understand it's a natural process, things will happen. You don't have to
yes.
rush into it and things like this. These conversation, maybe parents or elders in the family, or maybe an external help is required. I mean,
Absolutely.
yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, ma'am, moving on, if you talk about what initiative or practices does Delhi Public School, your electronic city, has in place to encourage emotional awareness and mindfulness, among students and their families.
Yeah. So, thank you for that question.
Mm-hmm.
Delhi Public School as a whole, not only our branch,
Mm-hmm.
our management has six branches of Delhi Public School that runs both in Bangalore and Mysore. So,
Okay.
one thing that we are very mindful about is having a well-established counseling team.
Okay.
So we don't have counselors for the sake of having them.
Mm-hmm.
We have them because of the functional ability it brings to any school. So
Mm-hmm.
our counselors, they put together sessions for parents, for children, for even teachers, because we
Okay.
may be so-called qualified to be teachers, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we are ignorant too about the changes that happen in children and how to handle them. So
Correct.
the counselors, they not only do it themselves on a regular basis, but they also bring in experts from outside.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Bangalore, we have Nimhans, which is well
Mm-hmm.
known for its counseling unit. So we have experts coming from there, and
Mm-hmm.
even hospitals also. where doctors come and speak to our children about the changes that are going to occur in their body as they're growing up, and
Mm-hmm.
how to handle them, and how to take it naturally. Sometimes we see girls, they
Mm-hmm.
always want to cover themselves with a jacket even when it is, the temperatures are high. And
Mm-hmm.
we came to know that they do that because they are not comfortable with their body,
Mm-hmm.
developing.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so, so we just talk to them, keep talking to them very often, and make
Mm-hmm.
them comfortable with their changes. And if they have any issue, or let's say they are still feeling uncomfortable, those are the children who will be given additional help with
Mm-hmm.
conversations. We
Mm-hmm.
bring in their parents, and we have constant session for parents also, because like I told you, many
Mm-hmm.
of us are not equipped to be parents. Like today I'm sitting with you and talking to you so much about parenting, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I was all that I am talking to you about when I was a parent myself. I have had my share of mistakes, and
Mm-hmm.
I've learned from them, and I've learned on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So parenting is not, it's not a formula that you share with somebody that this worked with me, why don't you try it? Because all
Right.
of us are unique as parents, all our children
Mm-hmm.
are unique. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to have independent, unique strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So we believe that, we actually have a kind of a system which we called as anecdotal records,
Mm-hmm.
where the teachers handling every child in the school, they
Mm-hmm.
have to maintain anecdotal records, and it is recorded and kept in the child's dossier to
Mm-hmm.
chart the progress of the child. Was the child always like this? Like, let's say a child in grade 8 is not doing well academically, or is having behavioral issues, and the teacher is new, she doesn't know the child from before. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
want the child to go asking, I mean, the teacher to go ask, how was this child? And we do not want any unsolicited advice also. So we have documented records about the child's behavior, the way the
Mm-hmm.
child has been academically, what is the
Mm-hmm.
kind of parental support the child has got. So everything is recorded, so
Mm-hmm.
that if a child goes through any problems when the child is in teenage or any other class, we have records to see that the child was not like this, or has always been like this. And what is it that we have done as a school? Have we
Mm-hmm.
had parent teacher conferences? Have we referred the child to a counselor? So
Mm-hmm.
everything is documented. And I think the easiest, the simplest of strategies that all of us should adopt is to have constant conversations.
Right.
There are many difficult conversations that we have in our Indian setup, where we don't want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about many things,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe the adolescence and
Mm-hmm.
puberty. And
Mm-hmm.
even, I remember many years ago when we had to talk about menstrual hygiene,
Mm-hmm.
or about the menstrual cycle itself, we would send the boys out. Uh, but
Right. Right.
but now in our school, we tell the boys also to sit through it, because the boys are going to be in contact with girls in some way or the
So
other,
good. Mm-hmm.
spouse, sister, mother, whoever. So they
Mm-hmm.
need to know what happens with the girls or the women, so
Mm-hmm.
that conversations are better. Like earlier, a girl who used to carry a sanitary pad to school would be ridiculed by boys or made fun of. Now the boys are very cool, and they say, "Oh, so you're going through your periods? Okay, I think you need to rest. You're not feeling good, right?" So
Mm-hmm.
I think the key, what we follow in our school, is that we have these difficult conversations very often, so
Mm-hmm.
that children feel free to come to us when they face any issue.
Right. Right. Ma'am, having this awareness is very important. Right. And,
Yes.
you rightly said till recent time, uh, boys were not included in these conversations and they were kept outside of it. And then we expect them to behave in a particular manner.
Yes.
Right? If we give them that information, they will be in a better position to, you know,
Be supportive and be respectful.
yes, 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 yes. So it is very
Exactly.
important. It's not something which is like, or if you are just, the saying goes that men are from Mars, and
Women are from.
if you're planning to stay or keep them that way, then it's fine. But when we
Yes.
want them to work, stay in one society with each other,
Yeah.
they have to have this awareness.
I don't think that's the way the 21st century is going to work.
Right, ma'am. So they have to collaborate. They have to have
Yes.
information. Right.
Yes.
Great, ma'am. So, ma'am, moving on to how does the school support parents in understanding and implementing mindful parenting techniques at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one thing that we keep, educating parents is that are they actually aware of the way the brain develops in a teenager?
Okay.
Like do they read it up or they just take it for granted that I also went through teenage and that's how my daughter or son is going through it. It is necessary for us to be mindful parents, and that is
Mm-hmm.
what we do at our school also. We kind of educate our parents about the brain development that happens, and especially when they are becoming adolescents, the
Mm-hmm.
physiological changes that happen. We bring in doctors, we bring in specialists to talk to parents.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that we keep repeating and reiterating is that parents have to be role models to their children.
Very
If
true.
they develop this kind of parenting technique where they are always conscious of what they say and what they do,
Mm-hmm.
there cannot be a situation that their child is doing otherwise.
Right.
How does a parent conduct oneself when they are angry? How does
Mm-hmm.
a parent have a meaningful conversations when emotions are running high? Do
Mm-hmm.
they allow their children to express themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And also when a child does something wrong, and we call the parents in for conversations, we always tell the parent when we have a private conversation with them that they should focus on the behavior and not on the child. So
Mm-hmm.
we cannot make statements like you are a loser, or
Right.
make derogatory statements like मुझे पता था ये तो होने वाला ही है. So
Mm-hmm.
you cannot judge the child, but you have to focus on the behavior. you
Right.
know and also we try to include parents as volunteers whenever we have any program, so that
Mm-hmm.
they get to see that their children are not what they think they are.
Okay.
Many times when we have problematic children or behavior and we call them, the first
Mm-hmm.
thing that parents are in is in denial. They will say that
Mm-hmm.
my child could have never done this. My child could have never said this. My child could have never
Right.
written. So they need to understand that children can have this kind of dual behavior when
Mm-hmm.
they are monitored by two individuals at home, because these days maybe the child is single or two children. So when
Mm-hmm.
two people are managed by two people, obviously they have to be at the best behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, do they replicate the same behavior when they are out in the public? And that is most important.
Mm-hmm.
Have we taught them well that they exactly behave the way they do at home? So
Mm-hmm.
and we also have sessions for parents on how to set clear boundaries. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot be that kind of a parent where the child says, I never knew that I'm not supposed to do this, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So and not setting clear boundaries is one of the main reasons why children are disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when I was a little girl, my father's expectation was that all of us, not only me, that I was his only daughter and he had three sons. For all
Mm-hmm.
of us, there was a common rule set that we should all get back home before 6:30. and
Okay.
and if we came after 6:30, all of us, we would, there was a consequence we had to face. So we
Right.
knew, so we would just keep asking, because when we were young, we didn't have watches. So
Right.
all we would do is when people are passing by, what's the time? What's the time? Because we had to run home before it was 6:30. So I think it is very important, and this is what we tell parents, that
Mm-hmm.
they have to be, one is involved, they should know what's happening in the child's life,
Mm-hmm.
and also that they should be firm parents.
Right.
Disciplining cannot happen with inconsistent parents. When we have time, we discipline them, but when we are busy, we just let go. It doesn't work like that.
Right. Plus, it can't be one-off kind of a thing that today I'm in bad mood or today I have
Yes,
time, today I have this,
absolutely.
so I do it.
Yes,
It has to be a
yes.
process followed on a day in, day out kind of a
Yes.
routine based right
Yeah,
now.
and both parents have to be on the same page when it comes to parenting,
Hmm.
because the child as young as a kindergartner can be very manipulative.
Yes,
So teenagers are they can
way
go
more.
really, really far, way more.
Yeah.
So if they come to know that both the parents are not on the same page, one is lenient and the other one is strict,
Mm.
they will clearly master the art of playing one against the other and making
Mm.
the most of the crack between the parents. So I think parents have to be consistent.
Right.
And if necessary, they might as well write down the rules and put it on the refrigerator for the child to read every day.
That's a great
And
idea. Mm.
yeah, and we also encourage parents to have family meets.
Mm.
It's not a Western thing anymore. I think there's nothing wrong even if we adopt that, where we say once in a fortnight we all meet and we re-evaluate the family
Mhm.
rules that we have set up, like dinner at 8:30, no
Mhm.
mobile phone at the dining table. Then we all place our gadgets on, in the living room, and none of
Mhm.
us use it after a beyond hour. So I think
Mhm.
all of these help, and we do keep equipping parents by, sending links. And now technology is there to help us. Parents need not come to school for all this. We can share it on our school portal and
That's true.
make the most of it. Yes.
Yes, the technology is available. You should all make use of it. Right.
Yes.
Great. Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, if we talk about what are some, simple mindfulness practices parents can adopt to stay
Yeah.
calm and focused during, moments of conflict with their teens.
Yeah, so yeah, the wonderful question, Mr. Shaju. I think, like I already told you,
Hmm.
we have to keep reminding ourselves that we are the adults in the situation.
Yes.
We
Yes.
we cannot behave a childlike. We
Hmm.
cannot be the child in this relationship.
Hmm.
So I think, like I already told you, both the parents, the mother and the father, should be together on this, no
Hmm.
matter how busy they are. Many, I'm very sorry to be gender biased, but many fathers get out of parenting duties saying
Hmm.
that I'm the breadwinner, I work 9 to 9, so it's your responsibility. I think that's a very unhealthy way of raising a child.
Hmm.
Both parents, in whatever way they can, should be a part of the child growing up, because
Hmm.
child needs both of them as they're growing up. So
Right.
this one, and also accepting the fact that the children need privacy,
Hmm.
and also that children are going to change when they become teenagers.
Hmm.
I think that is something that parents can, start off with. And generally, when children do something wrong, we are always
Hmm.
giving them threats. So
Hmm.
my request is something that is, I've tried and tested, is do not give empty threats. If you
Okay.
don't do this, we are never going to take you out. That is
Hmm.
not true. Even the child knows it. The minute you utter it, they'll say, "Of course, you're going to take us out. What are you talking about?" So do not make threats that you're not going to follow up.
Hmm.
And you should always be ready to accept that your child has done wrong. Generally, when we call parents to school,
Hmm.
we have a policy that children should not bring schools to for phones to school, and if they
Hmm.
do, confiscated. So
Hmm.
recently, I had a parent who came and
Hmm.
he said, "Ma'am, it's not the child's fault. It is my fault because I put the phone in the bag."
Okay.
Everybody knew that the parent was lying. So you cannot cover up for your child with lies like that. So
Hmm.
it's okay to say that your child is having a problem.
Hmm.
Set short time consequences and don't be too
Hmm.
harsh with your children, no matter what they've done. At the
Hmm.
end of the day, you need to reiterate the fact, no matter what you do, you're always our child and we
Hmm.
love you unconditionally. So
Right.
there should not be any reward based on conditions. Like, if you get 90% marks, we will give
Hmm.
you this. No, you can reward them, but with things like, if you do well, we'll go
Hmm.
out for a movie. If you do
Hmm.
well,
Right.
we're going to have ice cream tomorrow. Things like that. And
Hmm.
also, I would like to request all the parents that you know your child best.
Hmm.
So when your child is kind of digressing from your family values or is not adhering to your family rules.
Mhm.
Start when you see these things begin to happen. Do
Mhm.
not wait for things to go out of hand, because the damage control at that point of time can be very harmful for the psyche of the child. So,
Okay.
as soon as you see your child is kind of not being who she or he used to be, I think
Mhm.
both the parents have to sit together, talk about it, and start then. And whenever you are angry and your child is angry, it is best not to have a conversation.
Mhm.
Sometimes when we are angry, we say very mean things that we don't I mean, we don't mean those harsh things, but it just comes
Yes.
out. Recently, I
Right.
had a parent at school. The child, did have a lot of problems, and constantly, the parent was being called. So the father got so angry that in presence of me and the other teacher, he said, "I wish you were not born at all."
Mhm.
So I sent the child out and I asked the father, "Did you actually mean that?" He said, "No, I love her more than my life." So why did you
Mhm.
say that in anger? So in anger, do not have a conversation if you're not ready to.
Mhm.
And you model that to your child also, that when you are calm and your child is being, all hyper, you just tell your child that you don't seem to be in a frame of mind where we can have a meaningful conversation. Let me
Mhm.
know when you're ready to sit down and we can discuss this. So this is the way we role model, how to stay calm even when something is done the wrong, because let us accept it's not the end of the world.
Very
You
true,
know,
man. Very
there,
true.
there are there
Yes.
are great criminals who are forgiven for what they've done,
Mhm.
and these are lovely children who have done something wrong, maybe because of ignorance, because they have been influenced by someone. So,
Mhm.
and make it a habit to praise your teenager. I'm sure your teenager is not only about unacceptable behavior. I think your child does something right too. So
True, man.
make those opportunities to hug your child and say, "I'm so happy you set the table today. I'm so
True.
happy you got up on time. I'm so
Mhm.
happy that you finished your homework without me reminding you." Make
Mhm.
your child want those hugs and love from you.
Mhm.
And you see, positive reinforcement works better than negative reinforcement. So make it
Yes.
a habit to keep praising your child. Keep saying thank you to your child. We barely say thank you because we say, I mean, what's so great in what he did? That was his duty. No. Your child is being nice by doing something as small as, putting away the plates or whatever. Please
Mhm.
raising your teenager. And as a parent, you should have a sense of humor too. As a family, do you share laughter? Or you're
Mhm.
always serious, you're always disciplining? Is your house like an army boot camp where
Mhm.
as a child enters, everything is time bound, or you allow your child to relax for a while and say, "It's okay, it's a weekend, you can get up late." So I
Right.
think there are a lot of simple ways in which you can actually build a better relationship, because I just feel, I was just listening. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I see a lot of videos that are put up where they say that if there is no conflict, that means there is no connect also.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you have very peaceful homes where nobody is speaking to each other. There is no conflict, but that's not a healthy family. So I
Mhm.
think we should develop this kind of mutual respect. You cannot
Mhm.
expect only the child to give you respect. It should be that you respect the child first, and then automatically the child will respect you. Don't take it for granted that
Mhm.
you are paying for your child's education, you're feeding the child, so he or she will respect you. Uh, Teach the child that respect is second nature to us.
Right. Ma'am, there's one quote which I read recently, which is very, very, I personally feel it's very, impactful. It says that don't worry if your teens, don't listen to you. Be worried, be mindful that, they are seeing what you're doing, right?
Right.
So they are watching everything, and you have to be that role model. If
Yeah.
you expect them to behave in a particular manner, you have to demonstrate that first and be consistent with it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being role model is
Mhm.
one of the most effective strategies of mindful parenting,
Right.
because you may give your child 100 lectures, but your child is only learning from watching you.
Watching it. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so be mindful that every move you make, your
Mhm.
child is keenly watching you, and that is exactly what she or he is going to do eventually.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, uh, thank you. Thank you for sharing your profound insights and practical advice on mindful parenting techniques. Your guidance has illuminated the importance of staying calm and present during teen conflicts, a skill that can be transformed the parent-teen relationship into one mutual respect and understanding. To all the parents listening, remember that practicing mindfulness is not about perfection, but about progress. By staying present, listening deeply, and responding thoughtfully, you can create a supportive environment where your teens feel safe, heard, and valued. Thank you for being part of this important conversation. Stay tuned for more empowering discussions at the Parenting Summit 2024, where we continue to explore ways to strengthen family bond and empower our teens for a brighter future. Thank you, ma'am, once again for taking out time and joining us.
It was a
It
pleasure.
was pleasure was ours, ma'am. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Mr. Shaju, and I wish the Parent Teen Summit 2024 a grand success. And I
Thank you,
do
ma'am.
hope that the such kind of conversations keep continuing and we are able to raise healthy children.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yes, ma'am.